talk to my little friend.
You've heard the line, you've seen the posters, but behind the gunfire and the gold, Scarface is more than just a gangster movie. It's the story of dreams, power, and downfall. Of a man who reached the top only to be consumed by the very empire he built. It's Shakespearean, it's operatic, it's tragic. I still remember the first time I watched it. I went in expecting just another shoot 'em up, a loud, flashy crime film with some cool lines and brutal violence. But when it ended, I sat there, stunned. Because Scarface isn't just about drug deals and shootouts. It's about ambition that devours everything. It's about obsession, paranoia, and the cost of power. This is the rise and fall of Tony Montana, a man who came to America with nothing in his hands, and somehow took everything. And yet, lost it all. From the sweaty chaos of a refugee camp in Miami to a golden mansion soaked in blood, we're breaking this movie down, moment by moment, scene by scene. And the ending? It's the kind of ending that echoes long after the credits roll. So hit that like button, and come with me into the underworld. This is Scarface, explained. The movie opens not with fiction, but history. Real news footage, real desperation. It's 1980. Fidel Castro, in a brutal political move, empties out Cuba's prisons and mental institutions and sends over 125,000 people to the United States in what became known as the Mariel Boatlift. And among those desperate, displaced souls, is one man who will change the streets of Miami forever. Tony Montana. From the moment we meet him, Tony is unforgettable. He's got a scar across his face, a thick Cuban accent, wild eyes, and enough swagger to fill a room. He doesn't walk into the story, he storms into it. He's being questioned by U.S. immigration officers in a back room. They want answers. But Tony? He's giving a performance. He talks fast, jokes, lies, tells them he's a political prisoner. Claims he's never been in trouble. He's got charm, but also fire. And it's clear, he's dangerous. Then the officers pull up his file, and yeah, it's not pretty. Assault, robbery, maybe even murder. They even spot a gang tattoo on his hand which confirms their suspicions. But Tony doesn't flinch. He laughs it off, like it's nothing. He knows exactly who he is. He knows what he wants. And he makes it clear, he didn't come to America to play it safe. He came to take everything. Next thing you know, Tony and his best friend Manny Rivera are thrown into a chaotic refugee camp under a highway overpass. Tents, fires, fights, a sea of displaced men, most with nothing to lose. It's hot, it's loud, it's hopeless. But Tony? He's not the waiting type. He gets a shady offer. There's a former Cuban government official hiding out in the camp. Someone powerful people want dead. If Tony kills him, he gets a green card. A fast pass into the American dream. Most people would hesitate. Most people would think twice. Tony doesn't. He takes a blade, walks into a crowded room during a riot, and handles business. No panic, no fear, just cold resolve. That single moment tells you everything you need to know about Tony Montana. He is ruthless. And this world, this brutal, lawless, money-hungry world, is perfect for him. Green card in hand, Tony's finally free. But freedom doesn't mean success, not yet. He's flipping burgers in a rundown food stand, wearing a paper hat, getting yelled at by customers and managers. And you can tell, he hates every second of it. He didn't risk everything to be some fry cook. He wants power. He wants respect. He wants the world. And soon enough, the door cracks open. Tony gets an offer from a guy named Omar Suarez. A deal, small-time stuff. A simple cocaine buy from some Colombians at a shady motel. Tony, Manny, and two friends go in, thinking it'll be quick and clean. But it goes very wrong. Tony ends up tied to a shower pole. One of his friends is butchered with a chainsaw in front of him. The camera doesn't even show it all. Just the horror in Tony's eyes, the sound of the blade grinding flesh. It's terrifying. But Tony? He doesn't break. Manny bursts in just in time, guns blazing. He gets hit, but it's a minor wound. Tony also fights back, gets the upper hand, grabs a gun, and turns the motel into a war zone. He handles the rest. Blood everywhere. And when the dust settles, Tony walks out with both the drugs and the cash. That motel massacre? That's the real beginning. That's when Tony Montana becomes someone. With blood on his hands and money in his pockets, Tony starts climbing fast. He's now working under Omar's boss, Frank Lopez, a smooth-talking, cautious Miami drug lord. Tony does the dirty work. The brutal stuff. The stuff Frank doesn't want to touch. And he's good at it. Tony and Manny rise through the ranks with terrifying speed. Flashy clothes, fast cars, expensive suits. They're living loud and large, and totally ignoring the quiet warnings around them. And then, in the middle of all this madness, we see something different. Tony goes to visit his mother. He walks into her humble home, acting like he's just another son coming to say hello. But the tension is thick. His mom sees right through him. She knows where the money's coming from. She calls him out, says he's dirty, says he's trouble, and she doesn't want him anywhere near Gina, Tony's younger sister. It's the first time we see the tough guy crack. Just a little. Tony tries to laugh it off. But it stings. Because he wants her to be proud. He wants Gina to look up to him. And she does. Gina is innocent, full of light, hopeful. She sees Tony as a hero. But Tony? He becomes instantly overprotective. Almost too protective. And that possessiveness? That obsession? It's going to lead to something terrible down the line. Manny is catching feelings for Gina. That's right, Gina, Tony's little sister. The one person he still sees as pure, untouched by the filth of the world he's living in. So Tony shuts it down. Hard. He warns Manny, not gently, to stay away. And it's not just brotherly concern. It's control. Tony says it's about protecting his sister, but let's be honest, it's about owning her. That moment is one of the first real cracks in Tony's character, where we see that for all his talk about family, what he really wants is power over people. Meanwhile, back in the drug world, things are escalating. Frank sends Tony and Omar on a business trip to Bolivia. There's a meeting with Alejandro Sosa, a calm, polite, terrifying drug lord who doesn't say much, but means every word. From the moment they land, it's clear. Tony's not just some street thug anymore. He walks into that meeting with his chest out, loud, cocky. And Sosa notices. While Omar tries to play it safe, Tony is making bold moves. He speaks straight. He asks direct questions. And even though it's risky, Sosa likes it. But Omar? Not so much. Sosa doesn't trust him. He thinks Omar's a rat, and he says it straight to Tony's face. To prove it, he has Omar hung from a helicopter. No warning, no yelling, just calm, calculated execution. And Tony? He watches, stone-faced, barely blinking. It's chilling. But here's where things go off the rails. Instead of running back to Frank or even trying to play things safe, Tony, in the middle of a blood-soaked moment, makes a deal with Sosa. Right there, on the spot. No backup, no permission. No plan, just pure guts and greed. When Tony returns to Miami, he's not just a soldier anymore, he's moving like a boss. And Frank? He knows it. Tony went behind his back, made a massive deal with a major supplier, and came home acting like he runs the city. Frank tries to put on a smile, tries to hold on to control. But Tony's not listening anymore. He's making connections, earning money on the side. And there's one more insult. Tony starts stealing Frank's girlfriend, Elvira Hancock. She's sleek, distant, always holding a cigarette or a drink. She's not in love with Tony. She's bored, and Tony? Tony is chaos. And in her world, chaos is the only thing that feels real anymore. Frank tries to fight back. He tries to have Tony killed, sends 2 hitmen to ambush him at a nightclub, but the hit is sloppy. Tony survives, tracks down Frank, and in one of the most gangster scenes in the entire film, walks straight into Frank's office. Frank begs, offers money, makes excuses. Tony's response? Cold silence. No emotion. He signals Manny to kill Frank and then he proceeds to kill Mel Bernstein, a corrupt cop who was working with Frank. He takes Elvira with him and just like that, Tony Montana becomes the king. And what does Tony do when he gets to the top? He builds an empire. He marries Elvira. He buys a mansion the size of a palace, gold-plated bathtubs, armed security, tigers roaming the lawn. He puts up a neon sign that says it all. The world is yours. And for a while, it is. He's making more money than he knows what to do with. His face is in every nightclub. Every politician wants his favor. Every rival fears his name. But here's the thing. When you rise too fast, the fall is waiting. Tony's cash is piling up. So fast, it's becoming a problem. He can't keep laundering it through shell companies. So he gets connected to a sleazy banker named Seidelbaum, who specializes in hiding drug money offshore. Tony goes to meet him and as he is counting stacks of cash in a small office, cops bust him and we realize that Seidelbaum was an undercover cop. There were cameras in the office. And the feds? They've been watching, recording everything. Now they've got Tony on money laundering charges, and this time, it's not just rumors or hearsay. It's evidence. His lawyer lays it out. He's facing serious time. He might have to make a deal. But Tony? He can't handle the idea of prison. To him, jail isn't punishment, it's death. And just when he's cornered, guess who calls? Sosa. Sosa makes an offer. There's a journalist in New York planning to expose his whole operation, names, roots, everything. If Tony can take him out, Sosa will make the charges go away. No trial, no jail, no heat. Tony agrees to do the job. Back home, his marriage is crumbling. Elvira is miserable, coked out, trapped in a golden cage. And Tony? He's losing it. He's twitchy, angry, distrustful of everyone. Even Manny, his best friend, is starting to seem like a threat. And Elvira? She finally snaps. In one of the most painful scenes in the movie, Tony takes Elvira to a fancy restaurant. He's high, loud, slurring his words, yelling across the table. He tells her she's useless, says she can't have kids, says all she does is get high and complain. The entire room is watching. And Elvira? She stands up, tears him down with a few sharp words. Then she walks out. No tears, no drama, just done. And Tony? He doesn't chase her. He just sits there, broken. Because by now, the drugs, the money, the ego, it's all rotted his soul. Tony flies to New York, fully ready to do what he always does, handle business, clean up loose ends, and keep himself out of prison. The target is clear, a journalist. One article away from exposing Sosa's entire operation. One article away from ruining the empire. Tony's not doing this for money. Not even for Sosa. He's doing it for survival. Because if this journalist talks, Tony's going to prison. And for a man like him, a cage is death. The plan is brutal but simple. A car bomb. Clean, quick, no evidence. The next morning, Tony's in his car along with his men and Sosa's man. They're watching as the target walks out of his building. But then, something unexpected happens. The journalist's wife and 2 young children walk out, smiling, holding hands. They all get in the car together. And just like that, something inside Tony cracks. This is a man who's done horrible things. He's killed, he's lied, he's burned bridges and buried friends. But this? Killing innocent kids? Tony won't do it. He turns to the assassin next to him and says stop, calls off the hit. But the assassin doesn't agree. He says Sosa gave the order, and Sosa doesn't take no for an answer. A tense argument turns into a standoff. And then Tony does what Tony always does. He pulls the trigger. Shoots the assassin dead. Right there, in the car, with New York traffic rolling past like nothing just happened. Tony then drives away. The hit is off. But in doing this, he's made a deadly enemy. Because in Sosa's world, refusing a favor is more than disrespect. It's betrayal. Back in Miami, things spiral out of control, fast. Tony's personal life is in ruins. Elvira's gone. The business is bleeding. The feds are circling. And then comes the final blow. His mother tells him Gina is missing. Tony starts searching, panicking. Manny is also missing. He goes to his house, then he finds Gina there. The best friend, the one person Tony always trusted, and the one person he warned to stay away. He was dating his sister. And without even letting Manny speak, without even asking questions, he shoots him dead. Cold, fast, point blank. Gina runs down the stairs and starts crying. Then she tells Tony the truth, that him and Manny has married each other and they wanted to surprise Tony. But Tony, in his paranoia and rage, just destroyed it. Tony is silent. No yelling, no explanation, just stunned. His men pick up Gina, now screaming, crying, begging for answers, and take her back to the mansion. This should be a moment of reckoning. But there's no time, because Sosa's men are here. Fully armed, dozens of them. The hit squad surrounds Tony's mansion, his fortress, the same mansion he built with blood, betrayal, and endless stacks of cash. One by one, his guards are picked off. Silent kills. Inside, Gina is completely unhinged. She's talking to Tony, saying he's obsessed with her. That he can't stand the thought of another man touching her. Her grief, her confusion, her pain, all spilling out in real time. Tony doesn't even have time to react. Because Gina, in the middle of this breakdown, pulls out a gun. She starts shooting at him. Erratic, wild. She doesn't know what she's doing anymore, and before anyone can calm her down, one of Sosa's assassins sneaks in through the balcony and guns her down. Just like that, another piece of family Tony had, gone. Tony sees her fall, and something inside him dies. But on the outside, he rages. He quickly takes out the guard and throws him off the balcony, raining down bullet on him. When he comes back inside, he goes to Gina and starts crying that his sister was now gone. But Sosa's men are right outside the room. There's no time to grieve. He gets up, grabs his signature M16 with a grenade launcher, and this is the moment. The one burned into pop culture forever. He screams, "Say hello to my little friend!" He fires the launcher. Boom. The front door explodes. Bodies fly. Tony's a one-man army. He unloads round after round, refusing to die. He's shot in the arm, in the leg, in the shoulder, blood everywhere. But he keeps fighting. He's not just killing, he's screaming, taunting, soaking in every last second of madness. This isn't a man trying to survive. This is a man who knows it's over, and chooses to go out his way. But no matter how many men he takes down, there's always one more. A quiet figure slips through the chaos. He creeps up behind Tony, raises a gun, and with no warning, fires. One shot to the back. Tony's body lurches forward, crashing through the balcony rail, and he falls, face first, into the pool below, right in front of the statue that reads, "The world is yours." And just like that, Tony Montana is gone. No final words, no redemption, just silence. I remember the first time I watched Scarface, I thought, man, Tony's living the dream. The mansion, the suits, the power, the tiger. But by the end, I understood. This wasn't a success story. It was a warning. Tony didn't lose because someone outsmarted him. He lost because he couldn't get out of his own way. His ego, his paranoia, his rage. They burned bridges, killed friends, and blinded him to the love he actually had. And that's what makes Scarface timeless. It's not about how high you can rise. It's about how fast you can fall when you think you're untouchable. If this story hit you like it hit me, wait till you meet Henry Hill. Because Goodfellas? That's the next video. And it might just be the most brutally honest gangster film ever made. Hit that subscribe if you're into breakdowns like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Because in this world, everybody wants to be a gangster. Until it's time to pay the price.